Let's get on to the 25th February Shift 1 paper. And the first question here is molybdenum oxide, and you see high temperature and pressure, and it feels like it's a little bit based on memory because this catalyst could be very versatile and can do a lot of things, but still I see the most stable product here is this one. Without the loss of any carbon, you have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, so 7 carbons and aromatic ring. This is the best option here because this thing will not be formed. This is stable, and this has the same number of carbon, but this it doesn't look that stable. So because the temperature is high, so we need something which is thermodynamically very stable. This is also okay, but I will like to go with option 2 here. Now let's move on to next one. Okay, cyanide. Cyanide is a dry amide. So if you do hydrolysis first, then you will get C double bond ONH2. 2 times hydrolysis. You will have to break these two bonds and add 2 times water with delta plus and delta minus. I have been um, giving a shortcut for hydrolysis, which is very interesting in my previous videos also. You see HOH, you break a bond here, you break a bond here, this is delta plus, and here this is delta minus. So this H part will go here, and this is delta minus, and eventually this OH part will come here. So after first step you will get this, and then after the second step you will get 2OH, and one more bond is broken and NH2, and then you can understand this can release water to make this NH2. And then there is one more hydrolysis step remaining here. This bond can also break, and one more H2O. If you break this bond, then you get CH3COOH plus NH3. So this is your here what you get is an acid. And then SOCl2. SOCl2, the mechanism is very interesting, but I wouldn't like to go into the mechanism here. So what you get is basically an acid chloride here, not at the alpha position. For alpha hydrogenation we use Hell-Vollard-Zelinsky reaction, but this is used to make to insert chlorine at the carbon and carbon. And then what you have is called Rosenmund reaction, H2PDBaSO4. So you have a poison catalyst and hydrogenation. So here the chlorine can leave very easily, and you can insert a hydrogen here. So you can get this as the final product. So this is the right answer here. Okay, now how about this one? Which of the following will not yield acetaldehyde? Which of the following will not yield acetaldehyde? Interesting. This is also very much okay. So you have CH3CN and dibal H. Dibal H is a reducing agent. Dibal H. It's diisobutyl aluminium and hydride. Dibal H. So two isobutyl groups, and isobutyl groups are like this. So it can donate a hydrogen, but it's not very strong reducing agent because it's not a hydride, right? So what I can think of maybe is like partial reduction CH double bond NH. And when I say this imine, then this imine can after hydrolysis, but that's not written here. So after hydrolysis it can give CH3CHO. Here you can do the hydrolysis, and if hydrolysis would have been done, then I would have gone with acetaldehyde, but if it's not there, then I would look for the second option. The second option will not yield. Okay, so remember this is will not yield. This one is a dehydrogenation process. dehydrogenation of alcohols, you can remove two hydrogens, this one and this one, from here, and you will get an acetaldehyde. So this will give an acetaldehyde. Second and third one you have alcohols and Jones reagent, and in acidic medium, and I think it will give you acid. It's not that powerful, but I think it's still good enough powerful that it can give acid. So if PCC was used, then we could have got aldehyde. So I think this will not give. And then we have a last one. This is oxidation of alkyne, and this can also, because we have these catalyst, and which catalyst it's not mentioned here, this can also give acetaldehyde. So this is a little bit interesting, but since I have got this one, which I feel like in this I will get an acid, so I would like to go with 3 here, not the others, because they can give. Here the hydrolysis step is missing. After hydrolysis you can get um, acetaldehyde. Here acetaldehyde, this is certainly acetaldehyde, this can also give acetaldehyde, so I would like to go with 3 in this option, in this question. And let's come to 4. The lactose contains which carbon link between galactose and glucose? So if you remember these, if you lactose, or let's say starch, or even cellulose, the linkage is 1 to 4 in all of these molecules. Here in starch, in the amylopectin, you can have more linkages, cross linkages 1 to 6, but the normal linkages are in lactose and starch and cellulose, in all of them the linkage is 1 to 4. So I would like to go with 1 to 4, and 1 of what and 4 of what? Okay, that is also there. Then it becomes okay for lactose. As far as I remember, suppose this is your glucose molecule, it could be alpha or beta, anything. So but here if you have CH2OH up, then here OH is down, here OH is up, here OH is down, and here if you take a beta glucose, then OH will be up. If you take an alpha, then OH will be down. But so I can write it like this. And for galactose, we know that galactose is a C4 epimer. So 1 2 3 4, you should like, I remember these things like this. So galactose is the C4 epimer, so the OH group is up here, and on the 4th carbon, and other things are pretty much the same. And this OH, so if I see this OH, if I bring down at the C1, and this glucose unit, the C4 is OH is down, and if I bring this molecule there and join it, so it's very much based on memory, but there is a 1-4 linkage, and I feel like it should be 1 from the galactose and 4 from the glucose. Yeah, I would like to go with 1. Okay. Which of the following set of compounds give NaHCO3 test? Oh, this is an easy one. So NaHCO3 test. So in that you have HCO3 minus ion, and bicarbonate ion you have something like this, O minus, and this minus charge is shared by 2 oxygen atoms, but this resonance here is not helping in maintaining the minus charge, but that's fine. So it's like almost 2 oxygen atoms, minus charge on let's say 1.75 oxygen atoms. That's how I would like to say it, because there is a destabilizing resonance here also. Okay, and let's take a look at this carboxylic acid molecule, the first molecule, okay, let's start with the first molecule. This is phenol with NH2 groups attached on all these positions, and then you have HCO3 minus, and suppose it passes the test, then what you get is a minus at this O. And now this time the minus is at only one oxygen, and there is a D, yes, there is a destabilizing resonance also. So suppose the lone pair moves here and here is a double bond, it can go here or no. Wait a minute, I will have to, but I don't think it will pass the test, because the eventually resonance, no, if there is no resonance also, then the minus charge is only at one oxygen. So here, and then you have NH2. So what NH2 does is it generates minus at this carbon. It wouldn't go to, like, it generates minus charge here at this carbon. That NH2 group also will generate a minus charge at this carbon, and this NH2 will also generate minus charge at these carbons. So there is too much electron density in the ring, so the ring wouldn't help this oxygen. So eventually you feel like, I feel this is like 0.9 oxygen atoms is atom is involved in sharing the minus charge, where here you have 1.75 oxygen atoms involved in sharing the minus charge. So from here the minus charge going to this oxygen is not favorable, so this will not give the test. Let's move on to the next one. So this time you have so if the reaction happens, then you see the minus charge reaches at this oxygen, right? And at this oxygen it is shared by two oxygen atoms, and from this oxygen it is shared by 1.75, as we saw before. But here is also a destabilizing resonance, but this time this resonance is from carbon atom, and when this resonance will occur, it will destroy the aromaticity. So this is a very interesting fact, that the carbonic acid, and when you compare the carbonic acid H2CO3 and a carboxylic acid, and like this benzoic acid, and among these two, H2CO3 is less acidic than this one, because in H2CO3 this resonance is quite strong. And even here, like, I wouldn't write two oxygen atoms, I would like to write 1. Maybe 9 oxygen atoms are involved in sharing the minus charge here, but here 1.75, because this resonance from oxygen is very is nice, and it's not disturbing the resonance, the aromaticity anywhere, so it can happen easily, and it wouldn't help in stabilizing the negative charge. Here also that is happening, but I would like to go with this one. This will give a positive test. And then now we have a picric acid. This picric acid is very interesting because it looks like a weak acid, but you can see that if the minus charge is generated, if the acidic hydrogen is lost, the minus charge here can reach till these oxygens also of the NO2 group. So basically 4 oxygen atoms sharing one negative charge, which is very nice, and they're very far apart also, so there is much repulsion, much less repulsion in the molecule, and this is a very good acid. So this will react, and this one will react, but not this one. So the answer should be 2 and 3, which is option number 3 here. Let's move on to the next one. In which of the following reaction p-aminobenzene is not formed? What is p-aminoazobenzene? So you have benzene, and p-aminoazobenzene is like this, and para you have amino. This is azobenzene. Azo means nitrogen, so two benzene rings linked by in like extended conjugation with nitrogen, this is azobenzene. This is something you need to remember. Azobenzene is like this. So azobenzene and p amino. Okay, so let's start with the first question. This is NO2 and SNHCl. Okay, so first you will have reduction. First you will have NO2 and SNHCl. You will have a reduction and you will get aniline, and then there is HNO2. So diazotization will occur and you will get a diazonium ion. And then after that you can see that it will attack on aniline. Oh, so everything is there. Aniline is there and this will attack here on the para position and you will get this molecule for sure here. So the coupling reaction, this is called coupling reaction, and the first one is correct. First one is correct. Okay, now NO2 and NaBH4, everything else is the same, but now reducing agent is NaBH4. NaBH4, whether NaBH4 will be able to reduce nitrobenzene into aniline, that's a tough one. Let's look for the next option. This time you have NH2 and HNO2 and HCl. I think it's HCl aniline. Okay, so this one will definitely give the test because you're already starting from the aniline. So the only one which cannot give the reaction is B, right? So only B, because in the third one we have already started with aniline, and we will do HNO2 for diazotization and then aniline for coupling reaction. So this will happen. Now let's move on to this one. OCH3 NO2. So remember, this is electron withdrawing, this is electron donating via resonance. Okay, so what will happen? HCl. So you can take an H plus and you can attack it here so that the carbocation can get formed towards here, closer to the OCH3 group. And you can also do this hydride shift so that you will get a very nice carbocation. This hydrogen can shift here and NO2, a plus charge here, and then you can join the Cl. OCH3 Cl NO2. This but there is no such option here. Wait a minute, this seems like the right steps which I have followed here, because the carbocation can rearrange and it will of course rearrange towards the oxygen so that it can have the plus R effect. It can receive this lone pair from oxygen, but it's not an option. So even if we don't do the rearrangement, then we will have gone for a Cl here, like at this if we don't go for the rearrangement, then we can use this thing, not rearrange, and then add a Cl here. So yeah, that's fine, but that's not. So this is confusing because I see that the rearrangement was very much possible, but if it's not there, then we can go for, because this electron withdrawing group is it has a strong minus I effect, strong minus I, and then if there is no rearrangement, if you are not thinking about rearrangement, then this also is showing a minus I effect, but this minus I is stronger, so the carbocation will still favor to be formed at this carbon. So here you can add the Cl, which makes either option 1 or option 2 or option 3 correct. Option 4 correct. Option 3 has the wrong product A, and then after that NaI acetone. So NaI and acetone is used for Finkelstein reaction. It's used for replacing iodide by any other halogen. So the Cl will get replaced by iodine, but here you see that OCH3 is getting replaced. So if this is not the correct answer, this one seems like the correct answer. What's happening in the last one? Both of them are same. No, NaI in acetone, it's a very interesting reaction. It works on the basis of solubility of iodide ion in acetone. So, but it is simply used for halogen exchange. So halogen exchange reaction. Okay, now this is the last one. How many sp2 hybridized carbon atoms in the final product? Okay, so red hot iron tube, and you see acetylene and red hot Fe tube. This will give you benzene. This is a very famous one, and it's being asked in many examinations. I've never seen this process happening. I've never been acquainted with this thing. Like, I've never seen it happening industrially anywhere, but this is a very famous one. Aromatization. So you see benzene ring here, and then after that COHCl. Okay, this one is another industrial process. COHCl in presence of catalyst AlCl3. This is called OXO process, and or you can say it's a hydroformylation. Hydroformylation. In this process, you can see that mm, eventually what happens is a CHO group gets attached, is substituted in this kind of a process. So this reaction is also something Gatterman coach synthesis or something like that, with to prepare benzaldehyde. So that way you can also remember that. If you remember that reaction in from preparation of aromatic aldehydes, we have certain very interesting reactions like Itard's reaction, and this is, I think, Gatterman Cox reaction maybe. So this is the final product, and sp2 carbons, as you can see, this is sp2, this is sp2, 1 2 3 4 5 6, all the carbons in the benzene ring is sp2, and then one more sp2, so 7. Okay, so overall this paper was a little bit confusing, more memory based than the previous two papers which I solved. Thank you very much.